Right now, I'm in Africa. I'm in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, to be exact, which is known as the headquarters of Africa, or the capital of Africa, because we have the African Union here. The headquarters of the African Union is here in Addis Ababa. I spend a lot of time alone, and I do different things that people may often criticize, but it has nothing to do with their life. It's my life. What you will notice is that people want you to live how they live, but you can't necessarily live how they live. People will question a lot of your decisions. And so I'm a person that realized long ago that I don't have what they call FOMO. I don't have a fear of missing out. I have phobia. I have a fear of being included, because being included means mental slavery, cognitive dissonance, some type of psychological programming. There's all these things that go with it, because this is what the masses of individuals are used to. So herein lies the point. If you love comfort, if you don't want to be lonely, it's best that you be average. Because when you're average, you have a big pool of people to be around. You have a big crowd of individuals to be around, because the price of being great, the price of being elite, as my man Abu would say, the price of being elite is loneliness, because not everybody is going to be able to relate to the things that you're doing. They're not going to be able to relate to your line of thinking. And what you're going to find is that you will find yourself more frustrated than motivated, than inspired from being around so many people that think along the lines of the masses. Because you will see that you will start finding yourself trying to explain things to them, trying to see why they don't understand, why they don't see what may be logical to you, why they don't understand why training or doing or eating better or studying, why they don't understand that those things are good. You're going to find yourself changing and floating away from those people. And you're going to find yourself alone, because over here, there are very few. This is why there are very few that stand out in their respective fields, because these individuals over here, they will do what it takes. They have a different set of thinking. But on this side, where the masses are, you will find that people will fight. They will fight you for the programming. They will keep the programming. They will fight you to hang on to the programming. So I would rather not be included personally, which is why I have to do a lot of things on my own. And then when the results show, then people come running. Typically, they come running, but the distance has already been created. So if you're a person that you know that you don't like to be lonely, you need all these people around you, then being elite at the top of your field, at the top of whatever the life it is that you thought that you should have or you think that you should have, then that life is not necessarily going to be for you if you have a problem with being alone, because most people think the same. And so if most people think the same and you're thinking different, what do you think you're going to get from being around most people? Because most people won't change their habits. They still have the same line of thinking. They're probably still doing the same thing they did 10 years ago or 5 years ago or 2 years ago. But you are constantly evolving. And just with your evolution is going to be separation, because you're looking like, man, you still doing that? You're still hanging out there. You're still talking about the same stuff. You're still talking about the past. See, people that speak a lot or quite often about the past, unless they're 80, 85 and they're reminiscing on their life, or 75, they're reminiscing with family and friends on their life. But people that are 30, 35, 40, and all they got to speak about is the past, you know that not much is going on in life. Because forward thinkers, elite individuals. They are living right now to have the future that they want. And so they're typically set apart, not sitting around getting drunk, trying to figure out or trying to forget their problems. No judgment. Or getting high to forget their problems. No judgment. But to be elite, you're going to have to walk alone. You know how many times I've had to go to different countries. I've had to discover, I've had to take L's by myself. But it's brought me to this place where I can share information, real information, quality information with other individuals that may help them improve in some way, shape, or form. So being in a place like Africa, I came by myself. I came to Addis Ababa by myself, but the strides, the things that I've learned, the information that I can impart upon my family, my friends, and other people like yourself that's watching this, is invaluable, because you do need to take calculated risk. But the masses want to be safe. See, that's the thing about people. They want to be safe. They always want comfort. But there is no comfort when you're elite. There is no comfort. The comfort is in seeing the things that you've tried to achieve come to fruition and seeing your family live better. That's the comfort. That's the solace that you get. That's the reward that you get for tapping into your highest potential. But the punishment in a mundane sense is that you're going to be by yourself a lot. So you have to learn to be by yourself. You have to learn that not everybody, most people are not going to think how you think. They're even going to call you weird. They're even going to call you weird because they're on this side. And so that one is thinking like the next, and that one is thinking like the next. So if you got 20 people, you will look like the weird person, even though you're on the side of righteousness, which is the extended word for right. Even though or AKA correct, even though you might be on the correct side by universal law, by mundane law, and by the law of the masses, you look crazy. So you're going to have to learn that if you want to be at the top can mean whatever you want it to mean, but at the top is living that life that's in your heart, living that life that's in your soul, living that life that you desire. Hopefully the mic didn't mess up. But living that life, if you want to be at the top, you better be ready to be alone. But if you don't want the loneliness, then just be average. Don't work hard. Don't put in the extra effort. Don't aspire. Don't dream. Don't even take yourself through that suffering. Just be amongst everybody. Be a regular person, which is okay. There's nothing wrong with that. And just being a regular person. But none of this talk about being at the top. Leave that talk alone. No more of this talk about what you should have or what. No. Leave that talk alone. Just be average and be with everybody else. Because to be set apart, you're going to have to go through the loss of life or of lives. Meaning that the lives that are in your life, the people that wouldn't change. Most people can't do that. Most people cannot do that. They have to be around all of these people. So what will happen is, once you start to take that elite path, you will come in contact with some people, few, that will be along your line of thinking. And it'll click just like that. It'll click because wherever you go, there you are. So eventually somebody is going to come around that may have similar energy as you. We don't know when, but it really doesn't even matter. It's not that you're doing it for people to come around. You're doing it to put yourself ahead, to get closer to the things that you aspire. But there's never any comfort. And that's the problem with the masses. The problem with the masses is they always want to be comfortable. When I hear people say things like, yeah, I'm going to I can make $1 million, then I can chill and live off that for the rest of my life. How's that? That doesn't work like that. Ask a millionaire. Ask a millionaire. Ask somebody that won a championship in their sport. Ask an NBA champion if they can live off of what they did last year, or the tennis champion. If they can say, well, I won last year, so I don't really have to train no more. I can just show up. And ask them in that training what they had to do to even be able to get to that championship, to be able to be the champion. Do you think they were around losers or people with losing mentalities? Let me say that. Do you think that they were around those people? No, they had to be set apart. They couldn't go out when everybody was going out. They couldn't eat what everybody was eating. They couldn't think what everybody was thinking, because by the law of state solidarity, the people that you're being around, your subconsciousness is going to seek the dominant subconsciousness of the area. So eventually you're going to be thinking like everybody else. This is why it's dangerous. This is why if you're around average people, you will be average, because of the law of state solidarity. So by nature, your brain is going to seek the dominant level of consciousness. If it's lower, you're going to go lower. If it's higher, you're going to go higher, which is why you should always try to be around people that know more than you. And it's not going to be a lot unless you're down here, but because as you rise, there's going to be fewer and fewer people that know more. But there will be someone. And you will come across these people on your lonely journey. Now, to be lonely doesn't mean desolate and you just are a person, a hermit, that you never talk to anybody, that you set aside that time. But most of your time is devoted to becoming elite. That's what it is. So you want a lot of people around you, just be coming. There's a lot of people that's waiting with open arms. But the price to be elite is you got to be dolo, as they say. I've had to do so much dolo, but I've made the most strides in my life by myself, alone. Every now and again, you get those people that'll come in and they'll change your perspective. They'll improve your perspective and say, hey, you can't do this, because that's the thing. When you're by yourself, you can study a lot and all that, but that's why you still do need the contact. You still do need human contact. You can't totally isolate yourself. And so somebody will come and say, you may want to do that way, or you may want to do that this way. And they would change your perspective to help the overall goal. But for the most part, you're by yourself. You're on the ship by yourself. It's that simple. And so people are afraid of this because they need people around them and they need comfort. But the people are the comfort. But what they don't realize is all of those people is what's going to cause the discomfort later on in life. So if you're comfortable now, you're probably going to be uncomfortable later. And it's much harder to be uncomfortable later in life than it is earlier in life. So you pay now. You make a sacrifice now. You make an offering. A sacrifice is an offering. And that offering is, I'm giving my time. I'm giving up my time, which is the most precious thing we have. I'm going to give my time up so that I can get this in the end. So I can be able to take care of my family. So I can become my highest self. So that I can be able to help people, because I can't give you what I don't have. So if I have nothing and I want to give you some money, if I have no money and I want to give you some money, I can't give you the money. But if I have $1 million and I want to give you $1,000 and you need it, I can be of service. I can help you. So you see that the best thing for you to do to be able to help others is to help yourself first. Once I help myself, I'm good. Now I can be a blessing to others. Always. In any area, however you want to look at it, any area, not just financially, any area, knowledge. I'm reading a book so that I can help somebody else. And that's how you improve. You improve the planet by becoming your best self. That's how everybody can do it. You don't really have to worry about nobody else. can improve the planet by becoming my best self, because now what I'm emanating is going to get on you. What you see me doing, you can be inspired by it. Not detested, but inspired by it. So it's going to make you want to do more. But I couldn't do that if I didn't go and be alone. If I didn't suffer through the times that I didn't feel like studying, or I didn't feel like training, or I didn't feel like driving to this place, or I didn't feel like doing this for my business, or I didn't feel like coming this far, getting cheated in the Caribbean or in Africa and all that for me to be able to learn.